Hey there, folks. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we have a truly heartwarming story to share with you. And it's called The Blind Girl and the Golden Ring. This story is a perfect example of how kindness and compassion can change someone's life forever. A first-person account of a girl who never saw the world with her eyes, yet understood it better than most. I was born in darkness. Not the kind that fades with the sunrise, but the kind that never leaves. My name is Clara, and I have been blind since birth. For as long as I can remember, people have looked at me with pity as if my life was a tragedy simply because I couldn't see. But what they didn't understand was that I saw things they couldn't. I saw kindness in a stranger's voice. I saw love in the way my mother held my hand. I saw pain in the silences that stretched too long. But I never once saw my own face. And maybe that was for the best. Because how you look doesn't matter in the dark. Every afternoon, I sat on the same wooden bench in the city park. It was the only place where I felt free. The sound of rustling leaves, the scent of flowers, the laughter of children playing it was a world I could feel, even without sight. One day, as I sat with my cane resting beside me, I felt someone sit down at the other end of the bench. A heavy sigh followed. It was a man. His voice was old, weary. "You sit here every day, don't you?" I turned toward him, surprised. Most people ignored me. I do. He chuckled softly. "You remind me of someone I once knew." His voice had a weight to it like it carried memories too painful to speak aloud. I smiled. "Maybe I remind you of yourself." A long silence. Then, a whisper. "Maybe?" And just like that, a friendship was born. For months, the old man, Mr. Alden, and I shared that bench. He told me stories of his past, of a daughter he had lost long ago. I told him about my dreams, of how I wanted to one day help others like me. Then one day, he placed something in my hands. "What's this?" I asked. "A ring," he said. "Pure gold. I want you to have it." I hesitated. "But why? I can't even see it." "Because," he said, voice trembling, "not all gifts are meant to be seen. Some are meant to be felt." I traced my fingers over the ring. It was smooth, warm from being in his palm. It felt heavy, as if it carried a story I wasn't ready to hear. "You don't have to wear it," he said softly. "Just promise me. You'll keep it close." I promised. The next day, I went to the park, excited to tell Mr. Alden about a job interview I had. But his seat was empty. I waited. Hours passed. He never came. Anxious, I asked around. A woman selling flowers near the entrance sighed. "The old man, he passed away last night." The world stood still. I clutched the ring in my fist. It felt colder now. I had lost my friend. But before I could grieve, the woman hesitated. "He left something for you." She handed me an envelope. Inside was a letter. With trembling hands, I read it. "Dear Clara, I never told you who I really was. I wasn't just an old man. I was once a jeweler, a wealthy one. But no amount of gold could bring back what I lost. My daughter, she was blind, just like you. And I was too late to realize that she never needed sight to be happy. She just needed someone to believe in her. But I failed her. So when I met you, I knew. I had a second chance. This ring, it belonged to her. And now, it belongs to you. Keep it close, Clara. And when you're ready, give it to someone else who needs to believe in themselves. Because kindness is meant to be passed on. Goodbye, my dear friend. You gave an old man peace in his final days. With love, Mr. Alden." Tears silently ran down my face. The world felt darker than ever, but inside me, something glowed. I held the ring to my heart, whispering, "I promise." And from that day on, I carried his ring not just as a memory, but as a purpose. Years later, as I sat on the same park bench, I heard soft footsteps. A little girl sat beside me. She was blind, just like me. I reached into my pocket, took the ring from its safe place, and gently placed it in her palm. She touched it carefully. "What's this?" I smiled, repeating the words that changed my life. Not all gifts are meant to be seen. Some are meant to be felt. Kindness is not about what you give, it's about what you leave behind. The most valuable things in life are not the ones we see, but the ones we feel deep in our hearts.